My name is Austin. I was having a lot of issues with my knee that stemmed from an injury about 3 years ago and just wasn't healing, wasn't getting much better. Went through initial physical therapy recommended by my doctor. A little bit of improvement, but not much. Definitely hold me back from everything I love to do. I ended up opting for surgery this past April, and surgery kind of helped. And they did give me some physical therapy, but it didn't really get me where I wanted to be. For the surgery, my knee was honestly so bad that by the end of the day, it would be completely swollen. Didn't feel like I could put much weight on it. Felt like I was almost walking on one leg. If I tried to go to the beach, which I live on the coast, if I tried to go walk on the beach, it was so sore. It shot all the way, pain all the way up to my back, and then my back hurt. So that would put me out for the count for the very next day. If I tried anything more than a brisk walk for maybe a mile or two, I would be barely able to walk the next day. So there was a lot of limiting and definitely a lot of swelling and pain. My knee completely made it impossible to really routinely run, do any kind of physical activity. I coached 3 sports previous year, and my ability to really coach was extremely limited. It's hard to give examples or to show athletes what to do if you can barely put weight on your knee. My physical activity was terrible. I was not going to the gym and just not being as physically active as I should have, just for how painful and limited my knee was. Once I discovered Injury to Victory, this was after the surgery, I really wanted to change my approach to rehab, and I actually found Injury to Victory online on Instagram. I was really impressed by what I saw, so I decided to give them a try. And the results kind of spoke for themselves. At first, I liked the really slow approach that I was given. Wasn't forced into too much too quickly, but there was a lot of definite mobility work that I needed. As we graduated forward, I definitely could feel the gains coming in. My girlfriend and several of our friends mentioned how I lost weight and actually started to slim down and kind of tone up some using those exercises, supplementing it with some other exercises. But the biggest gain that I would say from the program was my goal with joining the program was to be able to pass the physical agility test for law enforcement. And after just 2 months of the program, I actually did pass the physical agility test and did not even feel my knee. Even thinking back now, and that was roughly a month or so ago, I had to take that test. Didn't even think about my knee throughout the whole process. So the results definitely speak for themselves in a short amount of time. My knee injury was a little bit different than it's very complicated because I went to several different doctors. It took them a long time. They didn't know exactly what was wrong with my knee other than I had some cartilage damage, swore up and down. No kind of ligament damage or anything, but my knee was just not feeling great, and I spent so much money on doctors. Did eventually get a surgery. I also spent at least $1,000 on experimental peptides trying to heal my knee before surgery. And so, once I did finally have the surgery, I decided, if I'm going to start rebuilding my knee and getting things back together, then I definitely want to do it the right way. And Injury to Victory definitely set me on the right path. When I first found Injury to Victory, I decided to reach out to the specialist, give them a chance. And I had my doubts. I did have some, kind of some objections just because I'd seen a million different, potential exercise programs before. I tried a lot of different things before to try and fix my knee, at least get it to where I could run and do very physical active movements and not feel like it was going to give out on me. But thankfully, the specialist put my mind at ease, definitely was able to work with me. With my financial situation, was able to, be very flexible and understanding there, but also provided me very, very quality programs for what I didn't end up paying. And honestly, I'd say that, any objections I did have were basically squashed. I really have no objections with the program at this point. It's spoken for itself. I feel like this approach was a lot more specialized to my needs. Other approaches seem to be sort of a one-size-fits-all glove, and knee injuries aren't one-size-fits-all. There's a lot of ways you can mess up your knee. There's a lot of different ways to rehab a knee that's been messed up in different ways. So I feel like Injury to Victory really specialized the program to fit my needs, and definitely with my specialist coach tracking, my workouts and how I was feeling after each workout, and, what felt good, what felt didn't, what had, a good feeling effect on my knee, what kind of made my knee feel a little wonky, or maybe we need to dial it back and ease up a little bit on that. Definitely the specialized approach worked a lot better in my opinion than the sort of the one-size-fits-all kind of programs I tried in the past. If someone was to ask me about this, I would definitely recommend it wholeheartedly. And I would recommend it a lot sooner than later. My big regret, honestly, I believe if I had found Injury to Victory not long after I'd been injured, probably would have never ended up needing surgery. just because the program there would have definitely, my knee, in hindsight, I don't think really needed surgery. It needed a steady rehabilitation and a program tailored to me. And I guess my only regret is that I didn't find Injury to Victory sooner, especially, closer to my time of injury. That way I could have been rehabbing then and probably would have had a little bit less complications. Probably wouldn't have felt like I was banging my head against the wall for a couple of years there trying to get my knee back healthy and strong so I could use it again. So I would definitely recommend Injury to Victory and their specialists to anybody that asks.